This is the Hollywood Outsider weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday, and this week we are going to look at upcoming releases including The Family and Insidious Chapter 2. We're going to have a spoiler-free review of Getaway. I'll bet you guys can't wait for that one. The From the Outside In topic this week, gearing up for the new TV season. So we're going to share some of the shows that we're looking forward to and some of the ones that really aren't getting us a fire. We're going to have the latest movie TV news as always, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson. With me today, I'm a fellow host, Scott Clark.
I kind of like the idea of showing our favorite shares instead of sharing our favorite shows.
What are you going to do, man? You can't do it perfect every time. Brian Williams.
What's up, fellas?
And Justin Mocumber.
What kind of shares are we showing?
Say it 3 times real fast. It's going to sound even more complicated. We're going to share some shows and show some...
Or show some shares.
Show some,
I like sharing shows, but I don't want to show any shares.
I
like my shares where they're at.
Let's get in the closet. We'll see what happens.
What just happened?
What just happened?
Ooh, things got awkward.
They did.
With a quickness.
Quickly.
So if you're still with us...
I'm just stepping back.
If you're still with us, Brian's Hollywood Outsider Football League just had their draft. So, Brian, you want to update just real quick? How'd that go?
Oh, we had a great time the other night drafting. It was great to interact with a lot of the listeners that, a lot more, a lot more quickly than we normally would with posting messages on Facebook or emails or that kind of stuff. So we had a real good time. And
you had one of the rules Brian had for his thing, and we'll get to movie news in a second. One of the things Brian had as a rule was every team name had to involve a movie of some sort, of some kind.
Yeah, movie or TV, right.
So what were some of them?
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool names. There's one of the guys, his last name is Cruise, C-R-U-C-E, so his team name is Speed 2 Cruise Control. We've got Vic Mackey's Lackeys. We've got The Last Dragons. Mingo Unchained. Phil Dawson's Creek, which I think is hilarious.
That's awesome.
And, of course, Bubba Hotep.
Oh, I see what they did there.
I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah. So we got some good ones. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
It should be. And that was nice. And also, our TV Talk episode is out where Justin and I recorded for Sleepy Hollow, so go to tvtalk.com. We did kind of a precursor to the episode. It was great.
We did a good job. Not to pat ourselves too hard on the back or throw my shoulder out from it, but I thought we did pretty good.
You guys seem struggling with the inability to curse.
We can't. Yeah,
really?
We can't.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice either. But we can't curse on there, which is interesting because it is their show. So I mean, we have to do what they tell us, and they tell us not to swear if it's not appropriate.
It was glaringly absent.
It wasn't there at all. No, and there's a couple times where I'm like, this would be better if it said F in Sleepy Hollow. But hey, because if I didn't have a head, I'd be saying fuck. It's just how I roll.
That's why we do this fucking show.
That's right. Exactly. Let's go to movie news. Okay. First up, what is going on with all the people going nuts over casting? I mean, last week, because we're not going over that again, but the fucking Batfleck. But 50 Shades of Grey just confirmed this week that Sons of Anarchy actor Charlie Hunnam and Ben and Kate's Dakota Johnson, who I don't really know her, won the roles of Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele. Great porn names. Great porn names.
Oh, my God.
But I never read the books, but now there's just like this small group of people. I'm assuming housewives. I have no idea. But they're petitioning for replacements already. Is this getting out of hand or what?
Well, first off, I didn't read the books either. I listened to the first one. I don't get...
What is it like to listen to 50 Shades of Grey? Is it a whole lot of take the chocolate, rub it on my back?
No joke. I had to turn it down at stoplights because I have a vehicle with plastic windows, and you can hear right through that. So every time I get to a stoplight, I'm like turning it down.
Plastic windows? What do you drive, a go-kart?
No, it's a Jeep
Wrangler.
It's a Jeep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a Daihatsu.
A big wheel?
It's a big wheel.
Daewoo.
I don't get the complaints. These choices seem perfectly fine for me, but again, 50 Shades of Grey isn't a beloved franchise or character like Batman.
Mm-hmm. I mean, wait, so you're the only one of us that's actually even come close to reading it because you listened to it.
Listened?
You read and you listened. You listened. So tell me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So tell me exactly.
It's not an Asian joke.
I thought that's what it was. I was like, really?
So tell me, is the story deep at all, or is it pretty much
it's
exactly it's exactly what it sounds like?
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's not well written. I mean, the Anastasia Steele's famous phrase that she says throughout the book is crap. Every time she's...
How is that famous? Like, that's the infamous phrase, is crap?
Crap. That's what I'm saying. That's how crappily this book is written.
Nice.
Is that's her go-to phrase whenever she's turned on or or something is bothering her or she's surprised. It's crap. That's the word. It's
and
crap.
he is basically a billionaire?
He's a billionaire that basically woos her into his bed with, according to her, not for money reasons or anything, but because she's insanely attracted to him and he's sweet and all this. But he buys her clothes and buys her car and all this stuff. And then he comes to find out that he's a little bit freaky.
Oh.
And it's very graphic. It's very
That's why you have to
graphic.
turn it down at stoplights.
Yeah,
I kind of want to drive next to you the next time you listen to it, just so you can hear it.
But I don't know. Like I said, 50 Shades of Grey is popular because it's a romance novel that women don't have to feel ashamed for admitting they read. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's romance novels with the guys the bursting chests and carrying a sword, and
This is a little bit more grounded.
Is this aliens?
not chest bursting. Like
Like Fabio. Like Fabio
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
cover.
Right. Bodice rippers.
Yeah,
Right.
smut novels.
I can't help but feel like the people are jumping on the hate bandwagon because of the Ben Affleck Batman thing. Like, oh, it's because everyone raised hell about that. We're going to raise hell about this. If that makes sense. I don't see the problem with those casting for that movie.
Well, if the
because-
roles aren't deep, I don't even understand what the problem is. Because Charlie Hunnam, granted, he's not a deep actor, in my opinion. But he's he's affable, he's good looking, he's got charm.
Well, I mean, he's most notable for Sons of Anarchy, which is very much a gruff. He's manly, but in a more rough and tumble kind of way.
Yeah.
The character Christian Grey is more professional, in a suit all the time, that kind of thing. Which the only pictures I could really find of him when I was sharing it to some of my friends that are excited about the movie are ones of him with the beard and with.
Oh, I see.
You know what I
you're
mean?
saying. Go
It's
to Pacific Rim. He's pretty, I think, clean shaven there.
Because they don't sell razors and whatnot.
True.
People need to shut up.
And I honestly don't know who they would want for Anastasia Steele because she is the least in-depth character. I mean,
She's just a sex doll. That's what it sounds like.
Well, Don Johnson's daughter should be just fine for that.
Wow. You didn't just insult her. You went like a generation back.
They both go, ow.
well, they're the ones that are reading the book, so
Yeah, that's true.
I'm excited for the movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. It's a little ridiculous. I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but whatever. Transformers 4 is officially Transformers: Age of Extinction, and producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura confirmed there will be, I repeat, there will be Dinobots.
It does seem to indicate that, yes, the Dinobots will be showing up in this, which, makes sense. It is it's being called the Age of Extinction. So, boom, dinosaurs extinct, whatever.
Justin,
To
I
me,
feel it's necessary to kind of explain to those people that aren't
Yeah,
Transformers
well,
nerds.
Well, if I've got to explain tungsten rods are being shot at the earth, I feel like I got to do this too. The question for me comes in is how they're going to bring the Dinobots into it. Depending on which cartoon, which comic book or whatever you read, their origin differs. In the original comic book, they were created by the Autobots here on Earth. But I'm curious if perhaps maybe in the film, this will be a case of these particular Transformers landed on Earth during the days of the dinosaurs, took on those forms, much like the Autobots took on the forms of cars, and then for some reason they like hibernated or disappeared, and now they're being resurrected or found. That could be the way they do it, or they could go a completely different route. But I'm excited by it. I think the Dinobots are extremely fun Transformers. I enjoyed them in the cartoon. I loved them in the animated movie. So yeah, bring it on. If you're going to break away and do a whole new series, bring on some of these fun characters.
Now, Brian, you're a big Transformers fan. Do you want Dinobots?
Me love Grimlock.
Jesus. I don't even know what that means, but I'm ashamed.
Don't
Oh,
you?
yeah, I mean, it's
never
just a
watched
reference. Yeah, it's just a reference to the Dinobots from the original cartoon. That's all. So you would love these guys, these characters, because they're much like your multiplayer shooter Call of Duty / Gears of War gameplay style. just run in and fuck shit up
And leave?
and leave. Yeah.
I like them. All right, I'm sold.
I don't know. When I first heard about this, like I thought, man, that's just ridiculous, and that just sounds really dumb. But then I remembered that we're talking about robots from space that come down and transform into vehicles.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you.
And
Much smaller vehicles. I just want to point out.
much smaller vehicles, yeah. And vehicles from this planet, by the way.
It's handy. It's handy to have that ability.
So to be fair, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I'm not. These movies are. I'm not a huge fan of them. They're not made for me. But if you love those, I know Justin loves them, and he was a fan of the cartoons. I just want a Transformers movie on Cybertron.
They explained how it worked in the first one.
That's right.
So
They can scan it.
Scan local technology.
That doesn't make
and then
it
they
any
mimic
smarter.
it so they can blend in.
Yeah, because
and the
Bumblebee
big
did that.
cube thing, that's how they make it smaller and stuff.
I think
So
you missed
It's
his
all
big-
right, Jay. We got this. It's all
We
right.
got
He missed
it.
his bigger
We got
point,
this.
which is that
We'll
he
start
wants...
our Dino cast.
Shut up. He missed his bigger point, which is that he wants it on Cybertron, which I completely agree with.
Well, we quit listening about 30 seconds ago.
I understand. Don't worry, Scott. I heard you. The rumor flying around the interwebs is that Brian's favorite actor in the whole wide world, Benedict Cumberbatch, will be joining the cast of Episode 7. That's Star Wars, if you weren't sure. Hang on, Justin. You had your shot. I want to explain. This is only a rumor, so then we generally try to stay away from. But because these two bitches are both like ridiculous, it brings up an interesting point. J.J. Abrams he's going to be behind the camera in the new Star Wars. He was also behind Star Trek. So that's one thing. But we never see him. So it doesn't affect what you see. But would it take you out of the movie to see Cumberbatch on screen first in Star Trek and now in Star Wars, Bri?
Not at all. I mean, first of all, we've had the Human Torch who played Captain America. That wasn't an issue at all. Once the original, after the original shock had kind of set in. So as long as the writing and direction's good, Cumberbatch being in it will not be an issue at all. I mean, and anybody that's got a problem with it is just part of the, this passionate fan base that it's got. And so
I thought you were going to say he's got to take it up with me.
well, yeah, that's number 2. So just the line forms down the road there. So I don't care. And besides, there's been some really bad actors in really big roles in these series. So if they can get Benedict Cumberbatch, more power to them.
I would argue there's been actors both ways. Natalie Portman's a fantastic actress, but she was boring as hell in the Star Wars movies.
Yes, but it also had Hayden Christensen. So
Yeah, that's true. That's not going to make anybody a better actress.
No, you're not elevating your game next to that block of wood.
She's probably just looking at him going, why am I here?
you're not really filming this, are you? Am I here to help out the handicapped or what?
He almost sold me in the third one, though.
Yeah,
He started turning.
No, he didn't almost sell me, but the movie was better. So that was good.
much
good.
Yeah, he was much better right about the time that he,
Died.
yeah.
Now, if they can get Cumberbatch, and Aaron and I already argued, believe, nobody will believe that.
Shocker.
But Aaron and I argued about this earlier in the week. But if they do the smart thing and cast him as a Sith Lord,
No.
I think it is probably one of the most brilliant bits of casting that I have ever seen. Sith Lords always have that kind of regal bearing that Cumberbatch has. They're able to bring that menace and gravity just like he can do. Put in maybe some contacts to change up his eye color, maybe add on some scars, maybe even just change his coloring a bit. I think he would just blend right into that movie. It shouldn't be a stumbling block for anyone.
I can actually see that casting as some sort of Sith, because I had no idea you guys were fighting that out, but I actually had that idea also, that I could see him at least in the face paint, that kind of stuff. So,
What a waste.
but then again, here's my other thing. I mean, he's really kind of more known for his kind of I guess hero type roles, but lately between playing Khan, hypothetically, let's just say he plays a villain in this.
Smaug.
He's a villain, and he's the necromancer in the Lord of the Rings. So almost like, okay, maybe he's done so many bad things. Let's kind of get him back to the good guys.
I would agree with that. My argument, quote unquote, it wasn't really an argument. I just
with us?
Yeah, I just preferred that he play an ambiguous character. I would prefer he was like a Jedi mentor of some kind, and you really are unsure of where his loyalties lie. And because that's something I think he would play perfect. That's the kind of role he needs to play. That's very similar to Sherlock, which he masters the line between a real asshole and a very good man. So he masters that.
That's my job.
Yeah, you do that well.
No, that line is not blurred at all.
Yeah.
It's very clear. And let's just say it's not the man option. It's the
Whether or not he plays a good guy or a bad guy, I just want him in the film. As you guys know, in the original films, Lucas didn't have a whole lot of popular actors. I mean, Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, they weren't like super popular at that time, right? Back in the late 70s, early 80s.
I don't think they're still not.
And while I think that hardcore fans of the Star Wars series like us are the biggest target audience in this, I believe that there's another target audience in that, and that's the younger generation that maybe grew up on the prequels, maybe grew up on the Clone Wars series and didn't experience those. They're not going to have that same experience with the original trilogy that we did. Mm-hmm. You know, that wowed the crap out of us when we were a kid. And we need someone with a really good caliber actor, but is still somewhat unknown. Now, I don't think that Benedict Cumberbatch is unknown per se in the nerd realm, because we've seen him in Star Trek, we've seen him in Sherlock.
The majority of mass media, he is still relatively unknown. I would agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think that he's unknown enough to make it viable in the Star Wars universe that he won't be recognizable by everybody. He's not like pardon me for saying it, he's not a Ben Affleck. He's not anybody that's super popular, rising star.
He's not Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he's gonna be someone that's gonna be fresh to a lot of people, and someone like him has your word charisma that's going to bring as close to the experience we had with Star Wars when we were kids to that generation.
I agree with you, but more importantly, Hugh Jackman in Star Wars, make it happen, because that would be a fantastic film with claws. Make the laser claws, like lightsaber
No
claws,
but a Jedi mentor with a cigar.
Oh. And he calls people bub.
It's a bub.
I'm thinking claws with like lightsabers.
May the force be with you, bub.
Oh shit! Three lightsabers out of his
three
hand.
little
Oh,
mini
my God.
lightsabers pop out.
All right. Speaking of recognizable actors, Bradley Cooper has been cast as the voice of Rocket Raccoon in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So now we've got Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper, both who are very famous actors with relatively pretty faces, and we won't see them. And Michael Rooker, who we will see. So,
the face like hamburger.
Are you excited for this, or are you a little nervous, B?
It does seem like some very backwards thinking is going on there. So I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't really bother me. The only really thing I guess that would kind of bother me is not so much the casting, but just so much the fact that they're very recognizable voices.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And it's really, I just think when you know, it's just one of those like, oh my God, that's, Sean Connery, that's Vin Diesel. There's, that's Christopher Walken. There's Al Pacino, whoever. There's people that have very, very distinct voices. And these are two guys that the only thing that really kind of makes me skeptical about it or hesitant about it is I don't want to watch this Rocket Raccoon and go, God, all I'm hearing is Bradley Cooper. There are times, there are certain movies, certain animated movies where you have maybe like a Ryan Reynolds or something, and you're going, and the whole time I'm going, God, that's Ryan Reynolds. I don't hear this this slug or whatever, or snail, whatever it was that was in Turbo.
Turbo.
So
cinematic delight.
Oh yeah, just massive award-winning, highly underrated. Not real. So I don't know, that really kind of it takes me out of it a little bit. But the thing that really jumped out with me with this is Collider.com is billing it as a sci-fi action comedy.
Yeah, that makes me nervous more than anything.
Why?
The comedy part is what makes me nervous.
Yeah, historically those have not worked well. So that part and
action comedies haven't worked.
No,
well.
the science.
Sci-fi action.
Yes.
Ice Pirates. Anybody?
R.I.P.D.
Tremors.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. He went for the gut. It just, I understand what Brian's saying. It makes him a little nervous because those can mash up well. I mean, there's, in Ghostbusters, there's a place where an action comedy worked well with a supernatural twist. But you put too many things in the pot, there's a better chance that something's not going to work. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what he's saying. Am I wrong, Brian? Is that's kind of what?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I say, it's just one of those things that there's so much going on. We've got talking trees, we've got talking raccoons, we've got multiple alien races, and then there's so much to absorb, and all of a sudden you're kind of taken out of this by going, oh yeah, there's Brad, or there's Vin Diesel. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those. It's going to be very, very hard to sell as it is.
Right.
You know, I see what you're saying. But Marvel has my faith. I mean, they've shown that they know what they're doing, so I have faith in them. They've got one hell of a track record. So I'm not going to stop that from, or I'm not going to let that stop me from going to see it. All right, my guy Kurt Russell, my love child Kurt Russell, he's in talks to join the cast of Fast and Furious 7. And I honestly can't decide if I love this or absolutely hate it. So what about you, Scott?
I love it. The more ridiculous those movies get, the better. And I mean ridiculous in a good way. I mean, those movies, let's be honest.
Becoming Expendables 8.
It's so funny you said that. I was literally going to say that it feels like an Expendables movie with a younger audience, except for, obviously, Kurt Russell's older. But these movies are getting that level of ridiculous. And I love that. These movies aren't super high quality. I mean, the action scenes look great and everything, but there's not great acting. There's not great storylines. There's not real good plausibility with pretty much anything that happens. But they're so much fun to watch. And that's what the Expendables movies are, but with just an all-old cast. And this is younger cast with one old guy, and I love it.
With one old guy.
He's getting a little long in the tooth, man. Have you seen some pictures of him lately?
I almost wish he was playing his character, though, from Death Proof.
Oh, God, yes.
That's an idea.
I love this casting choice. I think it's phenomenal. I love Kurt Russell. I think he's got that kind of cheesy charm that's worked so well in previous movies, like Death Proof and like Big Trouble in Little China. I would love to see what he's going to bring to Fast and Furious 7.
I want to love it. It just makes me so nervous because I don't want him to be in something when it's rated at the end of its ropes. You know what I mean? Because each movie, they keep going a little bit further and further. And I keep worrying because one of these movies is just going to be like, what the fuck just happened?
Really?
I don't want Russell.
That hadn't happened yet?
No.
Vault?
Surprisingly, it hasn't happened yet.
Rampaging around a downtown? To me, they jumped the believability shark a long time ago.
I think that
I'm
can
all
happen.
in this for the fun.
I say we go get a couple vaults, we hook them up to our Pintos, and we see if we can do it.
Do Mythbuster style?
Do it Mythbuster
This will
style.
lose me when they launch into space. Until then, I'm all right.
I think that's the 8th one.
They're doing heists on the moon.
Oh, yeah. Wings fold out from their cars. Hit it.
They go to Saturn.
They're just going to merge it into with Transformers.
Uh-huh. Oh, God, that'd be so awesome.
It'd be the greatest movie of all time. Michael Bay would make explosions. They would jump the cars over explosions every turn.
And then it becomes like a three-way baby with like every Marvel franchise gets tied into it also.
Wouldn't you love to see something like that?
Just think of the slow motion stand-up that Vin Diesel could do. I mean, he already talks slower than any person on the planet. He could stand up slow motion better than anybody.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. Well, in what is already being talked about in Academy Award circles, Dallas Buyers Club is about a freewheeling, womanizing, hell-raising guy named Ron Woodruff, who's been diagnosed with AIDS and given 30 days to live. Set in the scary early days of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, around 1985 or so, the U.S. was split on how to combat the virus. So since Ron didn't have time for the government bastards to figure their shit out, he took matters into his own hands, acquiring non-FDA approved drugs from places like Mexico, Amsterdam, and selling them to others in need of these unapproved drugs, doing the rabbit ears, air quotes thing there. So an emaciated Matthew McConaughey is already garnering Oscar buzz for the broad range shown just in the trailer. So Aaron, what'd you think about this?
This is probably one of the most surprising trailers I've seen in a while because I read the synopsis and I'm like, no, this just sounds really bad. I mean, it just sounds like Oscar bait, which those movies generally turn me off.
Sounds like a buzzkill.
It doesn't sound like a happy movie because it just sounds like everything you throw in a movie to get an Oscar nomination. Mm-hmm. So then I started watching the trailer and I have gone on record as saying I think Matthew McConaughey is becoming one of the best actors working today, and I stand by it because his performance here, what I see just from the trailer, impressed the crap out of me. I couldn't help but be memorized just in the 2.5 minutes that he's on screen.
Be memorized?
God damn, I can't speak. I can't help but be mesmerized the entire time that Matthew McConaughey is on screen. I don't even know why I bother anymore.
Hey, you wave your junk in your face and you're just anybody's fan, ain't you?
But the story really intrigued me. I really loved his performance in that 2.5 minutes. Really, it just caught me, and I really want to see this movie. I want to see it now, and I'm shocked that I want to see it.
I feel exactly the same way. Actually, I went into this trailer knowing nothing about it. I hadn't heard anything about the Oscar buzz or whatever. I just went into the trailer blind, and when it started up, I was immediately nervous because I thought it was going to be a rodeo movie. I really thought that, like, oh, great, Matthew McConaughey in a rodeo movie.
It's like, what the hell? What is he making me watch?
Urban Cowboy?
I know, right? I almost checked out, but and maybe I liked Argo too much, but I think that I'm really intrigued by movies from this era because in the 80s, in the early 80s like this, the cast looks incredible. He looks incredible, although I think his mustache looks a little too fake, but maybe that's part of the 80s. I don't know.
I think it's his real mustache, so.
It looked
should
really
get casting all its own.
The mustache.
I guarantee you that will win like an MTV movie award.
Best stash.
Best mustache.
Best flavor saver right there.
Did anybody know that was Jared Leto in there until they rolled his name across?
Yeah.
I had no clue.
He's definitely the most androgynous
Well, yeah.
actor going around.
Now, what about you guys? You've got Brian, who's the manly man, and Justin, who wants to save the planet. So, what did you guys think?
Oh,
I love this trailer. I'm all in. I think he really kind of took me back to Christian Bale in.
Oh God, I was just going to bring that up.
The Machinist.
Christian Bale has got a contender now for the scrawny off.
Yep,
scrawny off.
That kind of dedication to your craft, to where you get and make that you drop that kind of weight. Phenomenal. So,
I mean, and it really makes Chris Evans look bad to not do the same thing for, Captain America. Why didn't he chop off a foot or so and lose about 100 pounds to play that little weakling?
Yeah, I mean, surely with technology now, you can like take out a section of your legs and just put them back later. I mean,
damn right.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I do. I think it looks fantastic. I'm kind of like you though, Aaron. When I read the synopsis, I was like, boring. Yep. And I wasn't going to watch it because the trailer came out about a week ago and I completely ignored it. And then I saw it on our list. I was like, fuck, Aaron's going to make us watch this.
I ignored it too. Don't feel bad.
So I watched it and I was like, by the end of it, I was like, damn, I want to see that movie. That looks really good.
I agree. Can't wait to see it.
He made an AIDS movie look fun. I'm just saying.
That alone should deserve an Oscar.
Yep. They should put that in the poster.
To be fair, it's not Philadelphia. There's a lot more going on besides it. That's the catalyst to get him to the...
Yeah, it's Texas.
Yeah.
It's bigger. All right, well, Dallas Buyers Club opens up November 1st. And if there's three things I'm known for on this podcast, it's my disdain of Seth Rogen, my love for casting Zac Efron as the new Tom Cruise,
What's that,
chewing and chewing on used condoms. So that's why I can't recommend enough to go to thehollywoodoutsiders.com and check out the Red Band trailer for Neighbors. Rogen and his family move into their dream house in an idyllic suburban neighborhood. Unfortunately, their worst nightmare moves in next door, also a frat house. So after a few minor incidents, things escalate to hilarious proportions. I've watched this 4 times and have laughed out loud every single fucking time.
Baby.
Absolutely. That's one of the parts. And of course, the end of the trailer is I cackle every time.
Oh, with the airbag?
Oh, my God. I was in tears.
I laughed out loud at the Robert De Niro scene. Why are you dressed like Robert De Niro?
Oh my
God. Are you
God.
talking to me?
Franco looks hilarious as him. I don't know. What'd you think about it, Justin?
Are you talking to me? Yeah, I thought it looks extremely funny. Zac Efron, looks like he's playing totally against type. Everybody looks funny. The looks really sharp all around. I mean, hell, even McLovin is just going to town in this thing. Yeah, literally. I mean, when he walks outside,
Oh,
he's just wailing on some girl. It looks really funny, and I look forward to seeing this one.
I can't wait. This is a movie that I actually had no interest whatsoever because I knew who was in it. And then I saw the trailer, and I'm sold. I'll be there opening day.
Yeah. Such a weird matchup that you would never think would work.
It's two guys I don't like. I don't like Seth Rogen anymore because he's the same guy in every movie. And he's probably the same guy in this one. But Zac Efron, he bores me. But he looks fucking entertaining as hell, man.
Seth Rogen is the same guy in this movie. He's just not smoking pot.
We don't know that yet.
yeah, we don't know that.
There's a frat right next door, dude. He's going to smoke pot.
It's bound to happen. But he's
like
he's
moth to
not
a flame.
that guy that's too old to be doing the things that he's doing. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Scott on the weekends. So, just... but, I mean, this thing opens up like May 9th next year.
Wow.
And really judging from all the footage that looks like it's been shot, I don't know why we got to wait that damn long. I mean, it's not like it's like Transformers 9 or anything. I mean,
Post shouldn't be that long.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've got it just about complete. I don't know why we have to wait that long for it. That's a shame.
Well, why don't you write a letter?
I'll get on that.
Probably just to make Zac Efron's chest shinier.
Glisten. They want to make it
glisten just so.
Let's see, like I said, that opens up May 9th of next year. So in the meantime, go to thehollywoodoutsider.com. Check that out lots of times. It'll guarantee to make you laugh. So if you want to be our neighbor, you can call us at 818-81-I'm-a-ho, or that's 818-814-6246. Our email is feedback at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Go on to facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. Like us, leave us messages. That's always a great time to be had. Tweet us at H_outsider and get your official I'm a Ho t-shirts at thehollywoodoutsider.com.
Stump the Ho.
Stump the Ho is when one of our hoes offers up a trivia question in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes as well as you listening. This week it's Justin's turn. So Justin, what's your question?
All right. Earlier we talked about the Fast and the Furious. I did a little digging, and apparently the role of Mia, who was Vin Diesel's sister, was originally cast for Eliza Dushku. That's who they wrote the part for, but she turned it down. This forced the filmmakers to audition other actresses. Which of the following actresses did not audition for the part? Did not. Was it A, Jessica Biel, B, Sarah Michelle Gellar, C, Natalie Portman, or D, Jessica Alba? Brian, why don't you go first?
I'm going to go with Jessica Alba.
Okay. Aaron?
I go with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Okay, and Scotty?
That was my call, too. Sarah Michelle Gellar doesn't seem right. Although she didn't get the part, so.
None of them seem right, apparently.
Well, the only one that did not audition, and let's make this clear. 3 of these women did audition, and they got beat out by, what's her name?
Brewster.
Jordana Brewster. Fuck. But the one who did not audition was D, Jessica Alba.
Really?
Booyah!
So Brian was right.
Of course.
Natalie Portman got beat by Jordana Brewster.
So Oscar winner, Natalie Portman
Natalie Portman
got beat out by Jordana Brewster.
What the fuck?
I think it worked out for her, though.
Yeah.
Her career seems okay.
Somebody give that girl a cheeseburger, man. She's looking like Maria Shriver up in this shit lately.
Getting all Crypt Keeper and crap.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. All right, well, let's go to the big screen. We review any new releases. There isn't anything out, but I did see Getaway, because I guess that counts as a wide release. The movie starts off already in a car.
She said.
I was thinking this. I was laughing at that in my head.
All right, Getaway. The movie starts off already in a car chase. So as soon as the movie starts, you're in a car chase. Using flashbacks, we learn that Ethan Hawke's character of Brett Magra is a Formula One racer, or former Formula One racer, who now is residing in Bulgaria. I have no idea why. They explain it to some degree, but it makes no sense. So some random dudes apparently scooped up his wife and tell him if he either follows their instructions to the letter or his wife will die. Simple enough. They start out taking Magra on a seemingly never-ending series of car chases, and along the way he picks up a 16-year-old girl that looks like 12-year-old Selena Gomez. And they never really say her name.
Pulling an Aaron.
What's it? Get in the car, baby. Her real name is never given. They just call her the kid. Whatever, man.
Want to go see Madagascar?
Get in the ice cream truck, kid.
Yeah.
More like.
And the whole time they're giving him several different tasks because they're basically keeping him busy for whatever the real plot ends up being, which I'm not going to disclose here. But so he's doing car chase after car chase after car chase. And he's doing this to protect his wife, yet he seems to have no problem with causing what I would guess at least serious injuries from all these cops, where the cars flip and fly into walls and everything else. He has no problem with them getting seriously injured, probably paralyzed or dead. But as long as he saves his wife, it all works out. And somehow he, in his head, is cool with that. The two of them actually work well together. They spar back and forth for pretty much the rest of the movie. And she ends up helping him in his quest to find the guy who sounds exactly like Jon Voight, because he's played by Jon Voight. Getaway is like a 90-minute car chase, and it's really the first movie I can say is actually one entire car chase. They get out of the car, I think, one or two times in the entire movie. So until the very end, they're in that car the whole time. And they never refuel, which is kind of odd because it takes place over like 24 hours and they're constantly driving. So I don't know. It's an awesome tank.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, it is a hybrid. But
It's a Prius.
But the performances they're not bad. And Ethan Hawke and Gomez play well off each other, like I said. Unfortunately, unless you love car chases, they start to get boring and repetitive after a while. Because like I said, the whole movie is a car chase. That's really hard to make exciting for 90 minutes. The ending is actually pretty creative, and there is a nice long first-person car chase where the camera is on the front of the car for a good 2 to 3 minutes for this entire portion of the chase. Huh. That was actually really cool. I thought that was one of the most creative car chases I've ever seen.
Like one cut? Is it?
Yeah, it's one shot, and it's the car going on an uninterrupted car chase.
That's cool.
It's a great shot. And it's probably like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's honestly one of the most clever filming of a car chase I've ever seen. But unfortunately, you've got everything else that was before it. This isn't one of those movies I would actually call bad. It's just not worth paying a lot for. It's one of those movies that you should wait until it's on Netflix Instant. And when you're debating between this and a Nick Cage movie, pick this because it's better than that. So if
put that on the poster, yeah. Slightly better than a Nicolas Cage movie.
Slightly better than Nick Cage movies from the last 10 years.
You're saying this film is better than Drive Angry?
Yes, I liked it better. I liked it better than Drive Angry, but I didn't really like Drive Angry. So, if $10 is the full price of admission, this one's worth $4.50.
I got one question.
Okay,
is the 16-year-old girl getting in his car part of the instructions from whoever is?
Hey! Don't spoil shit.
Is that a spoiler?
Could be.
Is she part of it? That's actually part of ruining the story, so I don't want to do that.
Oh,
I will tell you the ending's actually pretty cool. That from the start of that last shot up until
Does he run his wife over?
No, I wish he would have.
No.
Seriously, I've said it before. The quickest way to divorce is just park the car.
Honor?
No, he doesn't have to. He just doesn't show up. She's dead. All right, let's go to box office. This is for Labor Day weekend, so it's actually 4 days. But The Butler remained at number one with $20.2 million for a $79 million total. One Direction started off fantastic. It opened to $8.9 million on a Friday and then plummeted the rest of the weekend. So over 4 days, Friday through Monday, $18.4 million. It still made more than Getaway. We're the Millers, $16.2 million for $113 million.
Man,
total.
that's making the bucks.
Yeah, it's making quite a bit. Planes is somehow still in the top 5. Fuck you, America. $10.8 million for $73.9 million. And Instructions not included. It's a Spanish.
What movie is this?
It's a Spanish language film, is what it is, and it's about a guy who basically he has an illegitimate child, and that child's mom did not take care of her, so he takes the daughter, and it's basically him raising the child. Completely Spanish speaking. Made $10.3 million on 348 screens for a $29,000 average. Just goes to show you that people that don't speak English want their movies too.
No shit.
And Getaway was way back at number 10, $5.6 million. So people they don't want Ethan Hawke. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, but look at the Mortal Instruments made, it's in its, third week now or something.
Second week. Yeah, that's the third.
It's not even cracked 25,000. And Percy Jackson is almost at 57,000. This
Million?
has got to scare
Million.
Hollywood a bit.
Million. Not
Yeah,
57.
I'm sorry. Yeah, millions. These movies are supposed to make big bucks because they're aimed at younger audiences. These are the audiences that made the Twilight movies such a huge success and the Hunger Games, but they're not coming in for these others. And Hollywood kind of has to be wondering, why aren't these films doing what the others have done?
Maybe because they released it when school started.
Well, not Percy Jackson.
Well, what, a week before school started?
I think it came out a couple of weeks before. I mean, far enough that if it really had an audience that wanted to see it,
They would have went.
it would be up there further than it is.
I would agree with that. It's just they're weak movies, and they released them, and they just looked weak. None of them really
They just look
looked good.
formulaic and paint by numbers.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we have got 3 movies that we're going to be talking about this week. All of them opening up on September 13th. The first one, Blue Caprice, is a crime drama directed by Alexandre Moores in her feature film debut, and stars Joey Lauren Adams, Tim Blake Nelson, and Isaiah Washington, or Isaiah. Inspired by true events, Blue Caprice investigates the notorious and horrific Beltway sniper attacks from the point of view of the 2 killers, whose distorted father-son relationship facilitated their long and bloody journey across America. Scotty, the Beltway sniper attacks happened in 2002, meaning you were probably still in diapers. So I don't imagine you have any memory of these terrible weeks in October. You interested at all in seeing this dramatization of it?
I do actually remember that. I wasn't quite in diapers, thank you very much. But
You're up on your Oshkosh bagosh.
He meant while you were in college.
Still wearing his Buster Brown shoes.
I'm interested in the story of that, like the backstory from a different point of view. But although this does look like a very well acted, intense drama, it just looks like one I'm never going to see. I don't know. It just looked boring to me. Nothing seemed exciting about it other than the idea that there's more or less snipers in training.
Yeah,
And-
I would agree. It's one that I would wait for video.
Yeah. I don't even know if
Nothing
I.
too compelling about it.
Yeah.
What about you, B?
Yeah, here's a tip. It's got Joey Lauren Adams in it.
I thought she was dead.
I thought she was too.
I think your mom thought she was dead. It's
I mean,
like,
the
I thought she
last
was hanging out
movie,
with like Lori Petty.
the last movie I saw her in was Chasing Amy, and that was like a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Second film, The Family. Now, this is an action comedy directed by Luc Besson and starring Robert De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, and Michelle Pfeiffer. The Manzoni family, a notorious mafia clan, is relocated to Normandy, France under the Witness Protection Program, where fitting in soon becomes challenging as their old habits die hard. Brian, as a member of Witness Protection yourself, how interested are you in seeing how it's done over in Frogland?
I'm gonna tell you, I've watched this trailer a few times. I'm kind of drawn to it.
really?
I think this looks pretty good. A good mix of kind of a. I think it almost looks like a tamed down version of Red, in a way, but this time it's more of a family instead of the CIA.
Yeah.
So, I like it. Kind of looks like a a little bit lighter and yet Robert De Niro, but yet there's still some good action and stuff in it. So, kind of like the idea of training your kids to take care of themselves, and by take care of themselves, I kind of mean like guns and punching people in the neck and stuff.
Double tapping, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the witness protection story has been done so many times,
To death.
but it looks like a fresher take on it. When have you ever done a witness protection where someone high in the mob and his family, who has been grown up in the mob, basically have to deal with suburban life, so to speak?
My Blue Heaven.
Yeah, my blue.
Well, but
Heaven.
this at least has the whole, France angle. Hopefully
Right.
that adds some sort of freshness to it.
Right.
And it's got Luc Besson, so there'll be a lot of deaths. And
Yeah.
Random shootings.
Oh, but now I'm thinking of My Blue Heaven, and oh god, that movie's so funny. You shouldn't be in the frozen food section.
They can add a little.
Why?
They can add a little
Because
fifth element.
You could melt all this stuff.
Is that the Rick Moranis? And-
Oh, it's Steve
No,
Martin.
that was Steve Martin.
Well, Rick Moranis was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah, I thought you were asking if that was a Rick
No.
Moranis line.
I think it looks okay. I would want a little bit more fifth element multipass Luc Besson than I would What's
Oh,
here?
I thought you said you wanted more sci-fi. Or
That's what I'm saying. I want a little bit more of that in this than what I saw. I want a
A
little
little more the professional.
a little bit more quirk to it. It just seems pretty by the numbers to me.
Ah.
But I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I will see her in anything. And I mean...
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer?
Pfeiffer.
I love the trailer too. I thought it was really well done. The music in particular, that there was a cover of a song done by Muse that sold me on the movie just alone.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the third and last one. Insidious Chapter 2 is a horror film directed by James Wan of The Conjuring fame. He also directed the first Insidious movie. And once again stars Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne as the haunted Lambert family. They thought they got rid of their supernatural herpes last time, but nope. Up they pop again. Aaron, Insidious came out before we actually started doing this podcast, and I don't feel like we've ever really talked about it much. What did you think of the first one, and are you interested in another go-around?
Well, first I'll say that the first Insidious I thought was a very well done for its budget. I don't think it's a great movie, but based on, because it was $1 million or something, it was a really, really micro-budget film. And what they did with it, with the special effects, they really emphasized the lighting and the atmosphere. That would really impress the crap out of me. But that said, I didn't really want a sequel until I saw The Conjuring, because James Wan directed that one too, and I saw, man, he really continues to learn from each movie to movie to movie. And after I saw The Conjuring, I got more pumped for this one than I ever would have been otherwise. So now I'm really interested to seeing where it goes. It seems like they're continuing the story, but they're also adding to it a little bit more. So I'm really curious to see where it goes.
Aaron, very good. Scotty, Brian, what do you think?
Was that sarcasm? I can't tell with you.
No,
Okay.
no, baby.
Not in the least. No, not in the least. Yeah, Insidious was one of those kind of surprise movies, I guess, where you kind of go in with pretty low expectations and go, oh, dang, that was actually pretty good. So doing a sequel kind of really lowers my expectations a little bit more, unfortunately. But I'm curious. I mean, I like the first one enough. I will definitely check this out.
I have yet to see the first one, so I can't really say that I want to see it until I go back and watch it. So
That makes sense.
I know it's available on iTunes. I don't know if it's available on Netflix yet. Had to check.
it seems
All
like
right,
something I'd
guys.
like.
Wait, do you want to see it? You didn't say.
Oh, yeah, I do. I like the first Insidious. I'm kind of with you, Aaron. For its budget, it did what it could do. I think the story called for effects that I think needed more money to be a little more convincing and atmospheric. I think The Conjuring of those two films is the better film. So hopefully he is learning and he is becoming a stronger director. So if he can bring those talents to this one, maybe a little bit more money in the budget since the first one was successful, then yeah, I'm definitely in for this one.
Okay.
All right. Well, of these three films coming out on September 13th, Blue Caprice, The Family, and Insidious 2, Insidiouser, which of these three do you guys want to go see in theaters? Brian.
It's a toss up, but I'll go with the Family.
All right. Scotty
I will also go with the Family.
and Aaron.
I'm going to go with Insidious Part 2 because of The Conjuring. So you're welcome, James Wan.
All right. And I'm going to go with Insidious 2 so you and I can buddy up and hold each other's hands when it gets really scary.
Good. I like to cuddle.
I do too. Yay.
You can listen and subscribe on iTunes, your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or through our RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There's a new episode every Thursday, and please, if you go to iTunes, make sure to rate us 5 stars, because that's what we're worth. Ask Justin, he'll tell you.
Fuck yeah, man. If there was a 6-star, I'd say, do that. Draw it in on your monitor.
Just put it up there. You'll be all right.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie, and if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com, tweet us or Facebook us the answer, and next week we'll give you a proper ho shout-out. Last week's answer was Justin's, and it was Super Troopers.
All right,
Hey,
meow.
meow.
Hey, meow. Hugh O'Donnell, Sean McGuire, John Butler, you guys got it. I know that it's kind of a quirky, unique one, but man, that shit's funny.
Am I drinking
What?
milk from a saucer?
Am I jumping around all nimbly bimbly?
Oh, man.
That movie is so great.
Well, this week it's my turn, so if you think you know what the clip is, let us know, and we'll give you a shout-out next week. Here's your clip.
Well, Pam, which way you going? Left or right?
Right.
That's too bad.
Why?
Well, because there was a 50-50 shot on whether you'd be going left or right. You see, we're both going left. You could have just as easily been going left, too, and if that was the case, it would have been a while before you started getting scared. Since you're going the other way, I'm afraid you're gonna have to start getting scared immediately.
All right, now let's go to the couch where we talk about TV and home video news, and we're going to talk about the fall TV season. But first, we've got a couple things. Real quick, we're not going to go into the detail, but True Blood is going to be ending after next summer's 7th season. So if you are a fan of that, get ready. You got 10 episodes left, and then the Bond temps are done. Dun, dun, dun.
And Newsroom got a 3rd season, too.
Newsroom got renewed. So
Ooh, awesome.
So the year after, when you have no more True Blood, you can watch Newsroom.
God, that is such a good show.
But a new HBO show that's coming out is HBO decided they're going to bring the Michael Crichton classic Westworld to HBO. And behind the scenes are J.J. Abrams, who we can never say his name enough apparently, and Jonathan Nolan, who's Chris Nolan's brother, but he's also behind Person of Interest, and he's also written a lot of the Christopher Nolan's work. So, Brian, do you think this is going to be the next Game of Thrones for HBO?
I mean, I don't know about the next Game of Thrones, but I do like the idea. I do like the sense that it's that that HBO is really kind of pushing the boundaries of what works for TV.
Yeah.
In this case, I mean, we've gone medieval, we've gone vampires. Now they're kind of stepping out to sci-fi. It is a boundary pusher, and I think now we're starting to they're seeing that audiences will embrace these different genres now, and for TV. For those of you that aren't familiar with Westworld, it is a sort of sci-fi classic, maybe a cult classic or something.
Yeah, I would say cult classic.
Yeah, it's from like '73. Westworld is basically it's a theme park that's broken up into like 3 different areas. You got a West world, a medieval world, and a Roman world. I believe it's Roman, something like that. Anyway, they've got all these robots that interact with the customers, and of course, things go bad, which is basically, speaking of Michael Crichton, the same basic plot as Jurassic Park, but robots instead. So, I don't know. I like the idea. I don't know how well that plays out into a series, but whatever, man. HBO's got a good freaking record with their shows, so sign me up.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's hard not to feel optimistic about anything that HBO is going to put out, especially with, like you said, going out of the boundaries. But I don't know. Amusement park attractions coming to life. Just, man, they're going to really have to do something with that. I mean, to me, dinosaurs are way more interesting. We know dinosaurs. We're comfortable with dinosaurs.
We do?
As far as
I don't know any.
I don't know any, but
no, we learned about them growing up. We know that they existed, that kind of thing.
I'm sorry, I went to a Bible school. Dinosaurs or the work of the devil.
No, as long as they weren't billions of years ago, they were okay.
Yeah.
So they're just a few thousand.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
Jesus rode around on one. That's what I heard.
Right, with Fred and Wilma.
That's true. That's a true story. Now, Justin, you're the sci-fi geek of this group. You're the one that claims sci-fi to everything except Tremors. So you've never seen this though, right?
I've never read it. No, I've not seen it either. It's one of those films that was done in an era just slightly before me. And so
The 40s?
when I would, huh?
The 40s?
Oh shit. Yeah. Right after Casablanca came out. No, for some reason, it's just never quite. It's kind of like Logan's Run. I've never seen that either. Yet it's a beloved sci-fi film that I kind of feel bad for not having seen. This makes me want to read the book, and it really makes me want to see the movie. I feel like I have been properly shamed now.
All right, now let's go to our fall TV preview. This is where we're going to talk about some of the shows that are coming out this fall, what's caught our eye, what we're looking forward to, and what looks just awful. So we're each going to kind of go over some of our favorite shows that we're looking forward to. First up, our top 2 new shows that we're really excited about. So, Brian, you start her off. What are the 2 shows that really caught your eye? 2 brand new shows that you're looking forward to the most?
I'm so glad I get to go first because I get to throw this one out because I know it's on all 4 of our list, and that's
No, it's
Marvel's
not.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't care. Okay. It better be on your list. Well, it should have been on your list, but, it wasn't. Whatever. It's just an expansion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Probably fill in maybe some backstories, maybe just some brand new stories, maybe setting things up for the future that we're not even aware of. I'm sure it's bound to spawn tons of rumors, speculation, et cetera, et cetera. Somehow they explain how Agent Coulson is back. Who only knows? I don't even care. Just glad he's back.
He died a lot, I hear.
Yeah. He apparently, it was pretty bad. So anyway, the crazy ones with Robin Williams.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I love Robin Williams. He's really not done much. I don't know what the last 10 years, maybe longer. Mm-hmm. Really, that's really about the only reason I'm excited about it. Honestly, I'm one of the few people who could care less about Sarah Michelle Gellar, which is probably blasphemy on this podcast. But
shut your whore mouth.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Brian.
What is the show about exactly? Is he a newspaper reporter? What is he? I don't know what he is.
He's it's an advertising agency.
Okay, all right.
And he's divorced. Sarah Michelle Gellar is his daughter. She works for him. And basically she has some issues. Whatever. She's threatening to leave the company at some point. So it's of course it's a kind of a family deal, but also looks like a lot of comedy.
All right, going back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before we go to Scott. Do you wonder how much they're going to tie into the feature films at all? Do any of you guys wonder that?
Yeah. I want like subtle tie-ins. I would like very subtle foreshadowing. And I don't mean bringing in Ant-Man as he runs across the screen or something like that. I mean, just something very, just very, very subtle to where when you watch a movie in about 3 years, you can actually retrace your steps back to this series.
Okay.
Do any of you regret that they revealed that Agent Coulson is alive, or do you kind of wish they would have done that in the pilot?
I don't know how you could do previews for it and get people. I think that helps get people excited because that's the one character they know because they wouldn't know anybody else. So I don't know. Justin, you haven't said anything about it, and I would assume this is going to make you giddy.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but what's really more to be said? It's a fantastic, I written and directed pilot episode, Joss Whedon, based on his film, which was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's a fait accompli that this is on my must-see top of the list. So I could not be more excited for it.
All right. Scotty, what do you got? What are your 2 shows?
Well, my first one is one that you guys actually talked about on a recent TV Talk episode you did, which is Sleepy Hollow, which one I had never even heard of. And you guys talked about it for 17, 18 minutes, and you guys really sold me on watching that show. That sounds totally something interesting that I want to see. So
hang on, tell us again how cool we sounded.
That's right. I can't hear that enough.
Well, that one comes out on September 16th, and the other one that I'm really stoked about comes out on September 23rd, and that's The Blacklist on NBC. It's been advertised like crazy, and I think that show looks really interesting.
You seriously picked both of mine. You dick.
Did you pause it?
No, I'm not pausing it.
Oh.
It was yours. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, man.
Don't be sorry.
It looks like
I'm kind of ashamed that I have the similar interests, but go ahead.
It looks like Silence of the Lambs, only with different actors. It's like almost the same story. James Spader playing a creepy villain. It looks really interesting, and I can't wait to see it. Please don't cancel it. My wife will get mad.
Please don't He's begging for him not to cancel it.
She's excited about it too, and my wife has this curse when she likes a show before it gets aired and she gets really into it and watches it, they cancel it. Except for America's Got Talent.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad, actually. Justin, what about you? What are your 2? I'm curious.
Well, of course, 2 of my favorites have been mentioned, so I'm going to have to bring up 2 others. The first one, strangely enough, is Dracula. This is a different take on the Bram Stoker story. It's starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, who I do like quite a bit. It has Dracula arriving to London in the Victorian era, posing as an American entrepreneur who wants to bring modern science to England. He's really there just to get revenge on all the people who ruined his life centuries earlier. So it looks like they're continuing Bram Stoker's story onward, Dracula apparently did not die, and now he's come to take, revenge. But once again, he falls hopelessly in love with a woman who looks like the reincarnation of his dead wife. But it's an interesting story. I like Dracula. It's a character that I'm curious to see how they're going to handle it. So, yeah, and it's going to be premiering on October 25th. So there's that one. And, of course, Brian already mentioned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so there's no point going on with that one. So I thought, how about Almost Human?
Yeah.
This is a TV show that is going to be starring Carl Urban, who we all know from Judge Dredd, or we know him from Lord of the Rings. I mean, God, he's been in just about everything, it seems like, Star Trek. But it's a show on Fox, going to be premiering on November 4th, and he's going to be playing a cop who's partnered with an android partner. The show is being produced by Bad Robot, of course, J.J. Abrams' studio. So, yeah, I mean, hell, how could I not be interested in that?
It's a good point. Touche. I really want to see that one too. It'll be really interesting. I'm kind of surprised that Carl Urban went back to television.
Yeah.
Or went to television. I don't know if he's ever been on television. But I kind of thought he was coming along as a feature film actor.
I think he is, but I think that probably the relationship he established with JJ over the course of those 2 Star Trek films, he was able to be convinced that, hey, TV is not this isn't where movie people go to die anymore. This is where great stories are now being told. And, as a lot of actors have shown, you can do TV and do films.
You can.
It's a little more complicated, but you can do it. And I'm kind of glad to see him, bringing his work to the small screen.
Did anybody get any kind of impression as to if this is going to be an overly violent show, or is this going to be more the mild violent? I really didn't know if it's going to be the kind of gritty show that I'm wondering it should be. Like a RoboCop kind of feel.
No, I think it's probably going to have more a rating like maybe what Fringe had. A little bit of violence, but not, no gore,
Nothing
no
crazy.
Blood spraying all over the place. No.
Okay. Well, my top 2 choices, Scott already mentioned, but he didn't really explain what Sleepy Hollow was about, so I will. Ichabod Crane dies in the Revolutionary War, killing the Headless Horseman. Comes back. I mean, you can hear the whole thing if you listen to TV talk. But comes back 250 years later. Comes back from the dead. Looks sexy. Just looks sexy. There's nothing wrong with him. Apparently, he's been living in one hell of a really insulated casket.
Death becomes him.
Yeah, death becomes him. The Headless Horseman is back as well, and basically he's in modern times trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It's very much a mythology / genre / sci-fi / what the hell else could it possibly be, Mulder and Scully type show. We're really kind of wondering exactly what kind of show it's going to evolve to, but it looks really interesting, and it's definitely the tops on my list for what I want to see this year. It topped Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually like 3rd or 4th on my list, so it didn't, as much as I want to see it, it didn't trump those 2. Blacklist, I agree with you, Scott. James Spader, when he plays creepy, he's one of the best creepy guys you can think of.
Yeah.
Because I honestly believe he probably is really creepy in real life. And he plays like a creepy bastard master criminal. And what he does is he turns himself into the FBI, and he helps them hunt down criminals, is what it looks like. But for some reason, he's working some other angle because he will only work with this young female FBI agent.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, you're right. That's where the Silence of the Lambs thing you were talking about comes in. And then it's basically there's an underlying, I don't want to say mythology, but there's an underlying serial narrative where you're trying to figure out exactly what his end game is. That to me is really interesting. But it's on NBC. That's the only thing that makes me nervous because it's NBC, and they don't have a history of doing anything right lately. Okay, that's what we're looking forward to the most, which is kind of funny. We're all looking forward to the very similar shows. And as the season goes forward, you'll hear us talk about the premieres, so you kind of get our feedback on those. But what looks to be the worst looking show this season? When you started looking at these trailers and reading up on them, what did you see and go, man, I have no interest in that crap? Scotty?
It's funny you ask me that because one of the ones on my list is on somebody else's list for looking forward to.
I'll say it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that'll just cause a nerd explosion.
No, it wasn't Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think the crazy ones with Rob Williams and Sarah Michelle Gellar looks
Ooh. Here you go, Brian.
really bad. Sorry, Brian. Robin Williams looks like he's trying way too hard, which he tries way too hard as it is. But it just looks like they're trying to push those "I'm divorced, you're my daughter" jokes down your throat. I just think it looks bad. Also, Anna Faris has a show coming out called Mom. I like Anna Faris, but not once a week.
This looks horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are my two.
Okay. Justin?
Well, Mom may look horrible, but how about Dads?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Is Robot Chicken and Family Guy not paying Seth Green enough that he has to dip his redheaded toe into this horrible looking shit sitcom? This has got canceled written all over it.
Like that should be in the pitch.
awful.
That should be in the pitch when they went in there to pitch to Fox. What are you going to call the show? Canceled? No, let's go with Dads.
Yeah, they've got the open date and the close date already penciled in.
Oh, man. Well, I'm actually after Justin, but that was my pick, too. I actually like Seth MacFarlane, but I've yet to enjoy one of his shows week in and week out. And the trailers for this, as much as I love Seth Green, and I really do love Seth Green. I think
I do too.
He's a unique talent. I think he's a very funny guy. This looks like dog shit. And this looks like dog shit. I would feel bad for the dog. I would take him to the vet and get him checked out. Because it looks just...
Look up my dog's ass. Something's wrong.
What is wrong? What is coming out of him? So that's my pick.
I don't know, man. I had those jotted down, and I'm glad I made a fairly long list because you guys have just about nailed every single one of them. Luckily, I did do one or two extra. Back in the Game with Maggie Lawson from Psych, Aaron.
Yeah, I want that to get canceled because I need her to be in the final season of Psych. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's about a single mom coaching her son's little league team, and it's got James Caan in it. This thing, I don't know. Maybe we can have maybe like an office pool type of thing on which one gets canceled first.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You know, how many episodes in, that kind of thing. So this looks horrible.
And before you go on, I just want to say, I know most people haven't seen Psych, and shame on you because it's in its 8th season. So obviously people love it. But Maggie Lawson is actually a really good actress. They've had various things happen on the show. She can pull dramatic and comedic. And Brian's right. This looks like shit. She should have passed.
Yeah.
Have some common decency.
Justin, what show are you looking forward to the most?
Coming back.
Returning show. Which one that's coming back do you looking forward to the most?
No, it's no question. Sons of Anarchy. Last season ended with one of our characters heading off to jail, with one of them duplicitous and getting her there. The trailers for this new season look phenomenal. I'm glad Jimmy Smits is sticking around for another season. I could not be more excited. I would have said Breaking Bad, but it's already in a couple episodes. So Sons of Anarchy.
I second that. Sons of Anarchy. That's my easy choice. It's just one of those shows that it's really depraved, and everything that happens in it is bad. But I smile the whole time I watch it.
Walter Goggins.
Yes,
Come on.
Walter Goggins, best cameo ever. And they have already said that there's only 2 seasons left. They actually have an end game, so they're doing just what Breaking Bad did, which is they picked a date and they said we're done. Kurt Sutter said we're done, and it's 7th season. So for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they set up the end game for next year, because this whole season is going to end with setting all the pieces in place, I would guess, for how it's going to play out next year. And I cannot wait because I love this show. This is one I love having water cooler moments with my friends after this show airs.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. And like I say, I hate, obviously you hate to see something you love so much end, but the fact that they planned it ahead and said, okay, here, this is when we're stopping it and we're going to work our way to that point is very smart. Mm-hmm. That was actually on my list also, but I'm going to actually go with The Walking Dead.
Oh God, yes.
Just if you watch it, you just know it's so much. I don't know. It's gut wrenching. It's tense. It's, shocking. So, heartbreaking sometimes. And just, I don't know. I just really honestly, I don't even know why I even love it so much, because there are episodes that are just slow and just
And infuriating.
Especially the first couple seasons, and it was just. But this last season, I thought they did or half season. I don't even know which season we're into.
I
anymore.
can't call it anymore. I know there was a whole season and it just split it up quite
This
a
is
bit.
officially season 4.
Yes.
So this is the start of season 4.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, not the mid. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah. Anyway,
Poor Brian, he's confused. I don't know when it is, but I want to see it.
I don't know, but I don't know. It's just phenomenal. I can't wait to see some more zombies, and of course Daryl. Everybody loves
Oh,
Daryl.
I love Daryl. What do you think's going to happen? I think it's going to rival Batfleck when they actually kill Daryl. I think the internet might explode. The geek revolution will begin that day. I guarantee it.
Absolutely, just yeah. And there's just every website you go to, it'll just say error.
Unless they, and the 404 errors just going to pop
Error.
up.
It's just a picture of Daryl.
Daryl happened.
Unless as he dies, as he's going down, he's falling down with that crossbow in his hand, and he shoots Carl in the face.
Here,
Then people,
Do you remember when he was just Scud from Blade 2?
yeah, he's moved on, man. He's just that guy.
they need to kill him off in like almost just a completely stupid way. Just like trip on his he
gun.
just trips on it and lands
himself.
wrong on his crossbow, and it just shoots right through him, and he's dead. And they set it up. It's like maybe almost like a romantic scene between Rick and somebody else that he meets, and then all of a sudden Daryl comes walking by and like trips over a prison door, and just all of a sudden,
Crossbow bolt right through the head.
absolutely, damn, Daryl's
No, because
dead.
then they'd spend 20 minutes with like a tribute funeral scene to Daryl,
And then Talking Dead would take forever.
oh yeah,
Forever. to this day, whenever Talking Dead has him on there, I freak out because usually that's the dead people that show up on that show. They're like, oh, we're gonna.
Your blood pressure shoots up like no.
It does. All right, Scott.
Oh, mine are no surprise, but one of the ones I'm looking forward to mostly because it's time for the show to be done.
Please say How I Met Your Mother.
I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
That show should have been done 2 seasons ago at least.
Meet the bitch.
Yeah.
Well,
Has he run on to her?
He
by now?
has.
Run into her, onto her?
Kids going,
Yeah,
Dad, would you
both.
hurry up and finish this fucking story?
Yeah, they actually the last season ended
I
with
gotta go shave.
the end of the last season. You actually see the mom. So like the
Did they
last
show her?
season, yeah, and the finale of the last season was.
So it seems like it should have ended right there.
Well, they just show who she is. They give away that you actually see her face instead of like the umbrella or the boots or whatever. You actually see her face.
So
So
is it somebody you already knew if you watch the series?
should I tell?
No.
or
No, don't spoil it. I'm just curious.
No, that's what I'm saying. Should I say either way?
No, you shouldn't. You're right.
Was it Machupa Pfeiffer?
And the other one,
That would
again,
be
no
fantastic.
surprise, Big Bang Theory, because those are my people.
Those are your people.
I love
Those
Big
people
Bang
have
Theory.
seen way more movies than you even thought about.
It's nerd blackface. Nerd minstreling.
Nerd blackface.
We worked it in there.
Oh, you sure did. All right, now let's talk about a little bit about the fall TV season. Every fall TV season, we get more and more, a lot of the same procedurals, lawyer shows, cop shows, that sort of thing. What would you like to see, Justin, specifically? What would you like to see either new of or more of next year?
New love?
New of.
Lately we have been besieged by a lot of period pieces or medieval type shows. I know there's several of them coming up. Reign, The White Queen, or whatever that one's called. I mean, Game of Thrones succeeded, and so now everybody's got to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I want to go back to space. Specifically,
Really?
I want them to make a good Star Trek show. I
You want
haven't had
another
good
one?
Star Trek. I haven't had good Star Trek since Deep Space Nine. Voyager sucked. Enterprise sucked. I want good Star Trek. And even if it's not Star Trek, I want a show in space again. I feel like I haven't had one in forever.
There probably hasn't been a good one since Battlestar Galactica that I can think of.
Yeah, I guess that is probably the last good one. Damn it, that show's been out for a while. Give me something new.
But wouldn't you rather have something fresh instead of just another Star Trek show?
Sure, but just give me something. Star Trek, whatever. Give me something. I want to fly around in space again. I miss that.
I want more Westerns. Like I've really gotten hooked on Longmire. I just love the
Really?
aspect. I really love the character of Longmire.
I haven't watched that show, but for some reason it always seems like such a yawner.
Oh no, he's so charismatic. I'd say enigmatic, whatever you want to say. He's got a matic, and he's just,
You're gay for him. I got you. Okay.
Absolutely. And actually, now that I've gotten hooked on him, Brian's talked about it a lot to me, and I just ignored him because that's what I do.
Exactly.
But Hell on Wheels, I don't love the show, but the characters on the show are really interesting, and I would like to see kind of a mesh of those two, and give me something a little bit more modern, but with that Western feel that Hell on Wheels has. And a character like Anson Mount's character, because his character's great. I think some of the storylines are a little weak, but his character's great, and I just love watching him on screen.
I'll tell you, one of the characters I like almost as much as his is the Swede.
Yeah, the Swede is a really weird, unique character.
Right.
Yeah. And I would like to see more of that, because, you know, I've got my fill of sci-fi, and I do like genre TV, and I really like Sleepy Hollow. I'm looking forward to, but there are so many shows that I've seen over and over and over. I haven't seen a good Western. Like I think Longmire has potential, and Hell on Wheels has potential, but neither one of them are realizing it.
What about Deadwood?
I watched it.
You never watched Deadwood, did you?
Yeah, I've seen it now, but I didn't see it when I was on. I just want something now that's a Western. You could make it a modern Western, just, you know, like Justified's kind of close to it. I just want something that excels at it and just brings back what I used to love about like Tombstone and High Plains Drifter and those sorts of things. That's what I want to see on TV.
I want to see, like, you guys know I love disaster, apocalyptic movies, that kind of thing.
How would that series end? Everybody dies.
But I want to see one that doesn't have anything to do with zombies, doesn't have to do with some weird supernatural thing, you know, something that could actually happen. You know what I mean? Like
kind of like Revolution.
I was about to say
already
that.
On
TV. That one,
like
but
the season.
I don't like that one. I want to see more survival. I want to see more roughing it and figuring out how to survive Lost style. You know what I mean? Where they have to
Justin,
I'm sorry, I suddenly perked up. What?
I mean, I want to see something different, a way that people have to survive that's different. And the example that I'm going to give is something that's actually being made into a movie, so it's a bad example, but it's along the lines that I go. Okay. There's a graphic novel, or whichever way you guys call it, I can't remember, graphic novel.
Les Miserables.
Called Why the Last Man. And basically in that story, all of the men on the planet just instantly drop dead. Unexplicably, except for one guy. And that
coincidence?
God, want to be that guy.
Well, you think
Trust me, he doesn't have a good go of it.
Yeah, he does. So
it's not a Penthouse Forum letter.
Yeah,
thank you.
Scott's version of the series would be.
No, but I mean, to me, that's something more interesting than the lights went out or more zombies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Something that, I mean, that could happen and whatever, but that story seems like, okay, I could see that happening. I don't see it actually happening, but okay, you know, something could happen, and that's more interesting. And I want to see how people survive with that. Now, like I said, that's being made into a movie, but to me, that story being told in a 2-hour movie doesn't make sense. A series would
should be a TV
awesome.
show. You're absolutely right.
Holy
that
crap.
That should be on AMC.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. Justin said Scott is absolutely...
Oh, yeah, he's spot on. FX or
Record
AMC
that and just
should
play it
do
on a loop every now and then.
Make that his ringtone.
Just when I'm having a crappy day, I just listen to it.
Scott is absolutely right. Brian, what about you? What would you like to see come back? Or new?
Lost.
Making a road trip just to punch you in the neck.
Lost, starring Ryan Gosling.
I would like to see more sci-fi. I think now with the way technology is, I think that you can do sci-fi and not make it a piece of shit like most of Syfy's shows that they do.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that, and it doesn't have to always be hyperspace flying and planet, different planet surfaces and all these crazy things. I think you could, do it where it primarily takes place on maybe a ship that's on some sort of journey or something like that. I don't know. Of course, that's probably too Battlestar Galactica, but
Like a 5-year journey?
yeah, whatever. So,
I'm surprised you don't watch Doctor Who.
I honestly, multiple times over the years since I was a little kid, and we used to watch it on PBS. I could never get into it.
Even the new stuff, have you tried?
Even I mean, Christopher Eccleston, the David Tennant. I mean, I know all of them. I just, except this last guy, Matt Smith, I cannot. He looks like who was it? James Spader in Mask, or Eric Stoltz in Mask.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, I mean,
James Spader.
He looks like Rocky Dennis. I mean, Matt Smith, I can't watch him. I saw him on Top Gear and just had to fast forward through him.
Too bad. It's so good.
So I think now there's, and maybe this Westworld thing with HBO is maybe kind of pushing those limits a little bit and kind of making it a little bit more possible. Because HBO seems to tend to break ground and everybody else seems to follow after that. So.
I would agree with that. I definitely don't. Well, here's the thing. What do you want less of? What makes your blood boil? Every time a commercial hits and you see an ad for this kind of show or that kind of show, what makes you go,
wow. Do we have time?
Not really.
Anything with cops, doctors, or lawyers. I'm just fucking tired of them. Any SVU, I don't know, coroner investigation stuff.
NCIS.
NTFS, CSC, CFU.
Exactly. It ends in a courtroom. I'm sick of it.
When the coroners start investigating crimes, this ain't Quincy.
There's every disease has got to be, and every possible way to murder somebody has got to be exhausted at this point.
They keep coming up with new ones, man.
They do, but it's just, I'm sick of them. And unfortunately, as far as network TV goes, those are the things that people watch.
And reality shit.
No, I love some reality.
I fucking hate reality
I
shows.
love my Survivor. I love Big Brother.
So
a few of that Duck Dynasty I think is great. I just there's a lot of those shows that I like. I don't think we've really even touched on enough. But
I'll be honest with you. If it's a reality show, I purposely try not to watch it. I have no interest in reality TV whatsoever. It's just the one kind of television that bores the shit out of me. If I want to see real people, I'll walk outside because they're more real. Yeah. Reality TV is never real. I mean, it's basically just generic scripted TV.
I have never wanted to throw a brick at my television more than when I see a commercial for Honey Boo Boo.
Well, that's just because, Well, that show is popular because we all like seeing, a car wreck.
But see, I don't. I have no interest in watching.
Aren't they calling those shows though Hicksploitation?
They should if they haven't yet.
I believe that is what they call those.
Hicksploitation. That's awesome.
I'm with you, this guy. I mean, Duck Dynasty. Everybody raves about it. I'm sure it's a fine show. I have no problem with it. But
it's funny as shit.
I have no interest in watching it because I just don't care about reality TV. I just don't care.
There's another string of shows that I just don't understand. There's this whole string of reality shows based on the Amish community.
I don't get it either.
Mob.
Well, it's such a community. I mean, it's such a enclosed world that nobody's really had access to up until the last few years.
Right.
I don't want to. It doesn't seem like I saw Witness. Didn't look that exciting.
Millions of people obviously do.
This is like hillbilly Amish people that are in the mob.
What?
I'm not making back me up, guys.
It's called Amish Mafia. I've watched a couple episodes.
I thought it was a joke.
Terrible. It's terrible.
But there's been lots. I mean, not only you've got Breaking Amish, which is these kids that leave the.
They go on Rumspringa.
Rumspringa.
Not quite as funny as that, but yeah.
I want to go watch that now.
What is it? So anyway, but there's also been like a lot of the Discovery Channel or A&E documentaries on the Amish from different angles and that kind of stuff over the last 3 or 4 years. Not only them, but the polygamists. That's another big thing.
Yeah, they got a second show coming out.
Right. So there's a lot of these, whether they're religious, whether they're military, whether they're, some sort of socio-economical groups, whatever. We are starting to get a lot of insight into a lot of these different types of people that we haven't had access to before. So,
and I still don't care.
It's fascinating for a lot of people, though.
I'm not knocking those people. I'm saying me personally, I have no interest in any of it. Just don't care.
Oh, my wife loves them. Every weekend, I'm having to watch Honey Boo Boo,
Oh God.
Dance Moms, Teen Mom. And, I asked my wife, honey, you are a smart woman. You've got a bachelor's in anthropology. You're a vice president. Why are you watching this moronic television? And quite often she says, sometimes it just helps remind me that I ain't got shit that bad. You see these people who are just living these terrible lives or these incredibly complicated lives. Of course, it's called the complication brought on by themselves, but living these lives that we don't want to live, and she's glad she's not living. So it kind of reminds her, hey, shit's not so bad over here. But I think there is just a certain, voyeurism that it's that rubbernecker kind of thing.
Right.
You drive past an accident, you can't help but, or most people, Aaron doesn't, but most people can't help but turn and look to see what kind of carnage is there. That's kind of what these shows are, just for 30 minutes
to see if I can help. I don't go to look at carnage. I see my house on fire. I wonder if I can help. I don't watch it.
But you're different.
You see fire trucks, you see ambulances, you see cop cars all lined up around this little area, and you're bottlenecked through this one lane on the left side of the road. And then when you go through there, you're staring at it like, dang, what happened?
No, I'm like, I hope everybody's okay. That's how I think. I don't think about oh my God, look at that. I think, God, I hope they're okay.
Well, good. And you're a saint, but most people aren't like you.
Most people are curious, like, oh my God, can you believe the size? That giant Ford Expedition is now about the size of a
Matchbox car.
Of a Volkswagen Golf.
It's a transformer.
What happened?
It's a transformer.
It transformed across their head.
I don't know. As I get older, I feel like my time is more precious to me.
Because it's limited. You're in the final stretch.
And there's so much good.
You're the second half of this game, bitch.
There's so much good media out there, whether it be movies, whether it be music, whether it be games,
or books.
Books, yes.
Books, yes.
That Justin McCumber, author of Haywire.
And a Minor Magic. Available at Amazon.
Okay.
I feel like I have to pick and choose between the good media out there. There's so much good media that I don't get to experience. I don't have time for listening
to. What was that?
Don't worry about it. I dropped
somebody spill their spit cup or something over there.
It's a reality show. It's a reality podcast.
Yeah, you should love it, Brian. It's reality.
Ding.
So yeah, I have such limited time to watch the good stuff. I don't know why I would waste my time watching stuff that I just don't really care about. I don't need to watch a TV show to feel, and I don't take this the wrong way, Justin, with you and your wife at all. Like, I understand the cathartic nature of watching a TV show and feel like my life's not that bad. I would rather watch something good that's enjoyable, that
I completely agree.
Higher quality.
Me too, bro.
He's like, I'm not making excuses for her.
I ain't the one recording this shit. So you think you can dance? Yes, that's mine.
Oh.
So fucking good.
All right. Justin, did you have any? I'm sorry. Did you have any that makes your blood boil?
The only ones that bother me are the comedy shows, and there seems to be a lot of them now with adult children living with their parents. We talked about dads, there's one coming up called The Millers, where the children are taking in their parents, and forever we've had parents letting their children live with them for a long time. At what point have we seen enough of this kind of angle for comedy?
Right.
I think we reached that point a while ago.
It's true.
Fucking stop it. There's other funny stuff out there.
Damn right there is. Let's have a real quick debate. Networks, ABC, Fox, that sort of thing, versus cable, which is like FX, USA, versus paid cable, HBO and Showtime. Who are the go-to for television nowadays? Like, which one would you pick if you had to pick one of those?
I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't have HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, any of those premium channels. But going by sheer number of quality shows that I've personally experienced, because I haven't watched a whole lot of them, I would go with cable.
Paid cable or cable?
Paid cable.
Okay.
Hold on. Paid cable, HBO, or regular cable?
I'm sorry, I'm talking
FX, USA.
FX,
okay.
AMC.
Gotcha.
Because of AMC. I've watched more shows on AMC that I've thoroughly enjoyed than anything else. Now, I've only watched 2 shows on HBO, again, because of my limited access to it. Mm-hmm. And they're both 2 of my favorite shows that I've watched.
Newsroom and Game of Thrones.
Newsroom and Game of Thrones. I haven't watched True Blood. I haven't watched, what's the one with Steve Buscemi?
Oh, Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk Empire. I have not watched those. I plan to. But because I've only watched 2, I don't see it's fair for me to say HBO on Cinemax because of 2 shows I've watched. So I'm going to say regular cable because of AMC and FX.
Okay. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I completely have to agree with that. I do really look forward to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sleepy Hollow, but when it comes to just the sheer number of shows, whether it's FX with American Horror Story, Sons of Anarchy, Justified, AMC's Mad Men, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Sci-Fi's got Continuum and Lost Girl, BBC America with Doctor Who, Orphan Black Luther. There's just far too many shows on regular cable that I want to see. That if I had to choose the one, I love you, Game of Thrones, but one show does not save an entire paid cable category. I got to go regular cable. That's where the real storytelling is happening now.
That's twice in one podcast. You agree with me? I just want to say.
It feels weird. I feel dirty.
God, and we thought the 100th episode was a monumental episode.
What about you, Brian?
I got to buck the trend here because I'm about the only one here that does pay for the HBOs and Showtimes and stuff. And
thanks, Brian.
To me, yeah, and I also pay for Justin's. So you've got The Newsroom, you've got Game of Thrones, Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Girls, Homeland, Dexter, True Blood. The list goes on. No other channel other than HBO has got so many awards. They're always nominated for the most Emmys for their shows and stuff. They tend to break more ground than any other show, any other channel. There's no limitations as far as what they can really do. They're not, even FX, USA, AMC, they still have limitations. They also have commercials. Of course, network TV, it's romper room compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Some of you older fuckers out there will get that joke. Anyway, I don't know. To me, the shows that I get excited about the most, that being said, I do agree with you with most of the points you guys make about their standard cable stuff, the FXs and AMCs and stuff. There's 3 or 4 shows that I'm very religious about, but to me, pound for pound, it's the pay cables, the HBOs, the Showtimes. Cinemax has got a action show, something Strike Force or something like that. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks like it's just nonstop action. So it's, to me, like I said, again, just pound for pound, what you're getting, because you're getting a full hour, or at least more of a full hour than 40 minutes of episodes from the other channels. So you're getting more product. It's just as good, if not better, and they don't have the limitations that cable or network stuff has. So again, my money goes to the premium cable.
Okay. I'm going to go with regular cable, non-paid cable. Well, I pay for it, but it's not HBO.
That's where I was confused. Yeah. You said paid cable. And I'm like,
Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Justified, Suits, Sons of Anarchy, Psych. All the shows that I watch aren't on networks and they aren't on paid cable. I love Game of Thrones, but that's really it. That's really all. I will watch Newsroom, but I'm not dying to watch Newsroom. So as far as I'm concerned, cable's where it's at. And I think it's funny none of us picked networks.
Well, are you surprised?
No, it's not funny because
it's sad. Yeah, it's sad because I was thinking about it when I even put that question on there. And last season, I think the only network show I actually really followed religiously, to where I didn't miss an episode, was The Following. That's it.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from it. There are some shows that are on network television that I do love. Supernatural and Grimm are just 2 of them. Once Upon a Time, we got Sleepy Hollow coming. We've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they definitely have quality shows, but it is so hard to compete with a network or a group of networks that don't have filters as much for language or for violence. And I think that because those channels have fewer episodes in a season, they're able to put more money into those shows. So there's a lot of reasons, I think, why regular cable is able to outdo networks.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's it for our TV preview. Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scotty.
Okay. We're looking for releases of September 10th. Just as a quick reminder, you can check out our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/The Ho Podcast. You can check out past episodes and reviews. For September 10th, we've got Star Trek Into Darkness. I don't think this one needs a whole lot of explanation. We talk about that pretty much every episode, but on episode 94 in particular, we did go into it in pretty good detail. Justin gave it a perfect 10 out of 10. Brian gave it an 850. Aaron gave it a 9, and I gave it a 950. Also, Peoples, which is basically Meet the Parents with different actors. None of us saw that one, unfortunately, but can't really give you a review. Next one is Wish You Were Here. It stars.
I'm not going to either.
No, I don't think I am either. Wish You Were Here stars Joel Edgerton and follows a group of 4 people who visit South Asia, but only 3 of them return. He mysteriously vanishes from the group, and the remaining 3 struggle with the 4th's disappearance. Frankenstein's Army is the 4th one that's released, and I can't make this up, guys, if I were trying, but Russian soldiers find a secret Nazi lab. They've been experimenting with Dr. Frankenstein's written work. You guessed it. The Nazis assembled body parts from their fallen comrades. And
I guessed that. Okay.
So it's Castle Wolfenstein. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. Also for TV, the 5th season of Castle is available, the 6th season of Big Bang Theory, and the 2nd season of Homeland. With that, we'll move on to our Recasting the Classic segment. This is where every other week or so, one of us gives to the other ho a classic movie that they need to recast 4 of the actors as if it were a reboot of the movie nowadays. Last week, Brian was given the task of recasting Blues Brothers. He had to recast Jake Blues, Elwood Blues, Trooper Mount, and Curtis. Brian, what do you got?
All right. Normally I would kind of go to the start with the lesser known roles and work my way up to the, to the big names. But I'm going a different route on a couple of ways here. So I'm going to start with the big name, Jake Blues from who was played by John Belushi. I'm going to cast him with Ludacris.
Wait, what? I did not see that coming.
So,
all right, we'll see where you're going here.
All right, yeah. So I'm kind of changing things up a little bit. His brother Elwood Blues, Common.
Okay.
Sure you don't want to go with the RZA?
Just going off the last little bit, no RZA.
I'm with him. I like this. All right, you're making a little bit. You're tweaking it. Okay.
Tweaking it a little bit. Yep. Trooper Mount. Going with Michael Rooker. He's kind of a hard ass kind of guy. He can kind of pull off the trooper / cop type of role. Curtis, who was kind of like the mentor guy for the 2 brothers. I'm going with Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Sorry. That's fucking stupid. I respect your choices, but that's just...
fuck you.
All around? You don't like any of
fuck
them?
you. It's my thing.
The Willie Nelson. I like everything else, though. Everything else is good.
Go fuck yourself. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
All right.
I like the idea of Ludacris and Common. I like that.
That's a cool idea.
Don't let him beat you down. Fuck him.
All right. Well, who do you got? What do you got for Justin in 2 weeks?
I'm going to give you a classic Jack Nicholson movie. And we're going to go with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So recast McMurphy, played by Nicholson. Nurse Ratched, played by Louise Fletcher. Martini, played by Danny DeVito. And the Chief, played by Will Sampson.
Okay.
All right.
I have to go watch that now.
All right. Now our From the Outside In topic is obviously going to be a lot shorter because we're already running long. But we are going to mention it. Since we had so much to go over on the TV front, this is what the topic's going to be. Star Trek Into Darkness, which is a movie we talked about, and you're going to hear about it again in our movie edition, which is coming out next week. The Blu-ray's coming out, as Scott had said earlier. Well, it turns out the studio has done a fine job of splitting up all the special features, which happens a lot on special releases. Different retailers get different special features to sell the movie. But they've done it so much that you actually would have to spend over $100 to get all the special features because you'd have to buy each particular edition. And there's even a J.J. Abrams commentary, which most people that collect Blu-rays would love to have that, I would say. But you can only hear it if you buy it on iTunes. So the internet has gone abuzz about this because they don't like it. They think Paramount Pictures is ripping them off. Yeah, the internet doesn't like something.
Buzz?
Mm-hmm. So does this bother you guys? Do you feel cheated as a consumer as more and more studios do this, or do you think that's fine?
I'll start. It doesn't bother me too much because, number one, I very rarely listen to any of the special features, and I know I'm in the minority here. And second, I honestly don't buy movies a whole lot anymore. We talked about limited time earlier, and movies just sit on my shelf when I buy them. I may watch them once every 2 years or something like that, and I don't have the time. I'd rather be getting a new experience than delving into the ones I already have. I'm not knocking the special features because, Justin, I know you particularly like that, and so I'm not knocking you at all. Just me personally, I just don't have the time to invest into hours and hours of special bonus features. I'll maybe watch something on a rental, but as far as being cheated by the consumer, you're talking about it being $100 to get all those features. Aren't they eventually going to have one of those
super duper special editions
that you're going to pay $100 for anyway, and it's going to have everything at some point?
See, I actually have canceled my pre-order.
Oh, really?
Because if it's not going to have the commentary, I have no interest. If they wouldn't have a commentary, that wouldn't bother me so much. But when they have one and they don't have it on there, that really irks me. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, I'll wait for that special edition you're talking about because I'm not going to buy it twice.
Right.
I'm just not. If I buy a movie, I'm buying it once. I'm not buying it
Justin.
Twice.
Right?
Yeah. Justin will have 8 different phaser editions or whatever. But I have no interest
I wish
in that.
I could say you're lying, but you're not.
What about you, Justin? I mean, you're the biggest Star Trek fan. Is that something that's going to bother you? I assume not, but...
Well, first off, this is nothing new. They have been doing this for the past several years where Best Buy will get their version that's got a couple of extra featurettes that nobody else gets, or Target will get it. So this isn't exactly something new. This is just now being done with a property that is bigger, and I think some of the things that they're making exclusive are more important to people than the random featurette. Yeah, a commentary track, that's kind of a big deal for people who buy movies. I mean, I have sat down and listened to the commentary tracks for all 3 Lord of the Rings extended editions. Yes, I have done that, and I did, and I enjoyed it. I am curious to hear the commentary track for this film. You know, I do kind of have a hard time being too angry about it because, one, I don't know if these exclusives were maybe paid for. You know, did Apple, did they approach Sony and say, hey, listen, or Paramount, hey, listen, here's some money. If we can get exclusive rights to this, you know, if they pay for it and the producer is willing to take that money, then that's, you know, sadly, that's just business. That said, I do know that the Blu-ray version of the film is coming with a free copy of the digital version. My only kind of question now is, will that download come with the extra features? I don't know, because if I can buy the Blu-ray and get the iTunes version too that has the commentary track, then I am golden. But if it doesn't, well, then I would probably buy it twice, or I may just hold off and just buy the iTunes version.
Well, I mean, for me, if you want to do a special cover for Target versus every other retailer or something like that, fine. But as far as the stuff like the commentaries, if I don't know, Best Buy has a version that has a commentary that I'm interested in, and then Walmart has another version that's got a commentary. Let's say the Best Buy version has got the J.J. Abrams commentary, and then Walmart has got
Benedict Cumberbatch, you know, whispering sweet nothings through my speakers. Man.
I mean, I'm not going to buy 3 or 4 different copies for all these different little features. It's dumb. Now, if you want to make it special packaging, you know, this one's, you know, comes into, you know, whatever. The disc come in some sort of enterprise box or something like that. You know, you open up the front part of it, the round part, and there's 3 discs. Great.
Open up the sausage section.
Oh man, you're getting me excited now.
I do have the Tron disc that's got those.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So yeah, I mean, I'm all about that. But as far as all the content that you put on the discs, you got to make that the same throughout. And this type of, I hope this is not something kind of foreshadowing things to come. So.
Well, speaking of commentaries, and I agree with everything Brian just said. That's pretty spot on. What are some of you guys' favorites? Honestly,
mean, what types of features?
Type of supplemental features that is something that you've actually gone back to and said, man, that was fun, or that was really cool.
The bloopers.
Oh, God,
Gag
good
reels.
outtake reel.
Seriously.
Especially for something like maybe like a gag reel for like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Or
something where nobody laughs in the whole movie.
Right.
Or just ones where it makes you kind of wish you were on set watching it. And man, they look like they're having a good time. Granted, it's work and a lot of it probably sucks, but that you got that one little glimpse of when they're filming and they were having fun.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
If it's a cool action movie, like say 300, I really like when they do featurettes on how the actors got into the shape that they got in, and then all the training they went through to do the fighting in those movies. I mean, I was so impressed when I saw how hard those actors in 300 worked to get in that shape, the kind of regimen they had to do. You saw something similar to that in that Ninja Assassins that we talked about a couple weeks ago. The Matrix, all three of them have got oodles of features on the training and the combat and how they did it. So I like to see how some of these actors get in shape. I like seeing how some of the special effects are done. I like when they do the commentaries from, the director and the writer, maybe one of the actors involved, those sorts of things. But I think I've really seen enough of just I'm an actor on the side of the stage. Let me talk at you for a few minutes. If you're not illuminating the filmmaking process, I'm not all that interested.
Yeah, and any commentary with Bruce Campbell automatically is more entertaining to me. Because I actually like his commentaries more than most of the movies. Like Bubba Hotep, Evil Dead, all those things. He just freaking knows how to make that shit fun.
Imagine they put Bruce Campbell, Kurt Russell, and Dennis Quaid all in a room together.
I would squeeze. And the screen would just be a mess.
It would just be splooged.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever listened to the Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Milius commentary track for the first Conan movie?
No. Is it good?
That is some classic shit.
Have you ever listened to the John Carpenter, Kurt Russell ones? Like Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing? Those are great. And John Carpenter is somebody that doesn't interest me. But those two together, for whatever reason, bring it out. Kurt Russell brings it out of him. And their conversation is really interesting for those movies. And Kurt Russell's fucking funny. Not just because I worship the guy. He's generally funny.
Well, in the Hobbit commentaries for the extended edition Lord of the Rings films with Elijah Wood and Sean Astin and the other two, I forget their names. Hearing
Dominic
them,
Monaghan and
Billy
something other.
There you go. Hearing them talk about their experience filming these movies, because they were together for almost all of it, they are so tight, and you can hear that in the way they talk with each other and joke and talk about the pranks they pulled and all that. That's really kind of nice to hear that, hey, these actors they're just like us.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about the Ocean's 11 commentaries, is that you can hear, you hear these, Brad Pitt and Clooney.
I haven't listened to those.
It is fantastic. And you can tell exactly how much fun they had making that movie. They even tell you, like, there's a scene where the little van pulls up to Elliot Gould's house and the gate opens up, and it's just, you got these tinted windows. You can't see anybody in there, but it's like all 11 of them are crammed into that van just because they had such a good time. They could have got, all these interns and production assistants, all these people, and just crammed, all these nobodies, and crammed them in there, because all you see are 3 or 4 shadow heads. No, but it's like everybody crammed in there and like, come on, we'll do this, and just and just drove through the gate. That was it. So, and plus, like, they also kind of point out a lot of things that I didn't really catch the first couple of times I watched it, like the joke with the card scene when Brad Pitt is teaching all these young actors how to, all these famous people how to play cards.
Topher Grace and all that.
Topher Grace and all them, right. And how the two biggest stars in the world, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, walk just out of this club, and, nobody pays them any attention, but all these little young no-name guys, everybody's swarming to them. The little subtle jokes, and every scene Brad Pitt is eating something.
Yep.
So, it's just those pick up those little nuances, like, oh yeah, dang, you're right.
And I love, every once in a while you'll find a DVD where they'll have deleted scenes, and you realize this would have been a better movie. Like, if you ever saw Disturbing Behavior, which that movie fucking sucked. It just sucked. But if you can find the DVD with all the deleted scenes and you actually watch all of them, it actually makes you think, man, this actually could have been a good movie. It's too bad that you guys dropped the ball. Now let's close. Before we close, some of our listeners sent in some of the shows that they're looking forward to the most, some that we didn't even mention. So shame on us. But Tammy said Sleepy Hollow, so we did say that one. Andrew Renahan said American Horror Story Coven.
Oh, man. Oh, God, yes.
Good.
Yeah, I was surprised nobody mentioned that one.
And obviously The Walking Dead. Scott McCumber said Walking Dead and The League, which just started. Mm-hmm. Forever Unclean. Man of Six, Castle. That's a good show. Nathan Fillion. Stephen White, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Josh Steima, The League, South Park, and Green Bay Packers football. Eiffel Tower Cutler. Nice. Lisa Connor, Sons of Anarchy, Dallas. Is that still on?
Apparently.
Oh, I didn't know. Walking Dead, NCIS. Charles Patterson, S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sons of Anarchy. Paula Sell, Bones, Arrow, Hawaii Five-0, and S.H.I.E.L.D. My TiVo will be working overtime. So those are actually all. Well, most of them. NCIS, I'm not really a big fan of that show. That's one of those procedurals where I go. But, hey, I'll give anything a whirl. Now let's close up the show. I'm sure you guys are ready to. Well, I guess you could have turned it off, really, if you didn't want to hear it anymore. But before we get to emails, let's do Facebook. For all new Facebook likes, we said we always mention you on the show. So remember, that's facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Brooke Oswald, Nicole Paulson, Sean Whalen, Vicky Groves, and Mark Travinsky. Thanks, guys, for liking the page. We really appreciate it.
Not one stumble.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. Now let's go to emails. Justin?
First one, Justin laughs way too hard at he said hard at every homoerotic reference. And he's the one making most of them. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's true.
Enjoyed my first listen. Keep up the good work. PG Holyfield. Fuck you, Holyfield. I know you. You need to stop listening. You got other things to do. PG does, not to pimp the guy who just busted my balls, but he does a Game of Thrones podcast called Beyond the Wall. If any of you guys are fans of that show, then you ought to give it a listen. He's a great podcaster. He does a good job. Give it a listen. So there you go, PG. You were shitty to me, and I just pimped you. So
yeah, let's see if he does the same on his show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, J-Rock NYC says, you guys are usually really good at avoiding spoilers. So what happened with the World's End review? Robots and aliens? Bet you didn't see that coming. Yeah, that was a surprise. Thanks. Did I miss the warning? Maybe, but usually it's so loud and clear. But this time, all of a sudden, bam, spoiled. I avoided spoilers all week. May I suggest a loud foghorn sound effect or something whenever a major spoiler is coming? Or even better, just not discussing major plot points like you have on most of your shows, and it is one of the main reasons I listen. In other news, I like the worst casting segment, but you might improve it by seeing who can come up with the worst choice fastest. So
I think
sort
that's
of like,
a great idea.
Yeah, sort of like buzzing in with an answer first, a la Family Feud.
Now, you're not going to kiss us all, are you?
I hope so.
Come here, give me some sugar, baby.
I hope so.
No, wait a minute.
I don't think we spoiled. Well, obviously he feels we did because some of the advertising didn't showcase that there's aliens, but everything I read on it said that. So we didn't.
And there were trailers
It's in the trailer.
that did show that these people in that pub were either robots or aliens or something beyond this world. So if it's in a trailer, in my opinion, it is free to be discussed.
And if I'm not mistaken, and God knows I am every so often, but
like every Wednesday.
But when I did the little trailer park thing months back, I believe I even mentioned it then.
Yep.
Okay.
But yes, spoilers are something to be avoided, and we will always try to make sure to avoid them.
Absolutely.
Scotty?
We also got an email from John Butler. John says, so first I have to thank you guys for this awesome podcast and making it easy to interact with. I've never felt more welcome to an entertainment community before, and I can't express my appreciation enough.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
As to the clarification on my list comment, I guess it was meant for movies, but basically last week he asked if we could talk about
Top 3 and worst 3. Or,
top 3 first. We asked for a little bit of clarification. He says, I guess it was meant for movies, but I love top, favorite, or worst lists, so so much that it could honestly be anything, because it's always fun to hear what people like or dislike and the reasoning behind it. It should spark conversation regardless, I think, and you guys are quite entertaining to listen to. P.S. The movie was Super Troopers this week. He was referring to our What's This Movie clip. P.P.S. I'm a huge gamer and would love for Scott to start up a gaming podcast. I'll gladly listen and support that. All the love and support. Thanks for the email, John. That was a really nice email. We do appreciate it. Anyway, we're hopefully starting up the game podcast here pretty soon. We're actually looking at doing a little bit different format than we do here. We're looking at doing like 5 episodes a week, just little 20-minute episodes, and seeing how that works. So hopefully we'll be doing that. As far as top lists, when you guys want to do that, we kind of did top favorites at the beginning. We started this like 2 years ago. So
yeah, we'll throw it in there somewhere.
Have to rehash it again.
Tom Beavis, God damn it, the guy who played Randall Flagg is Jamie Sheridan. Show some damn respect. Also, the comments re Shailene Woodley aren't fair. For a good performance, see Spectacular Now. I didn't think the movie was great. Well, I just want to say we based that on the trailer, and her performance in that trailer for Divergent was boring. So Riddick in the Mall is hilarious, by the way, but do you know how to make it better? Black Friday. That one's free. All right.
Pitch Black Friday.
Pitch Black Friday.
Pitch Black Friday.
And Justin, last email. Let's wrap
we
this
got a
up.
long one from Ashley, so here we go. Another great episode, guys. I actually really enjoyed your discussion on the pros and cons of Ben Affleck becoming the Bat. For me, it's more of a genre hatred, or a general hatred for Ben Affleck's face, rather than an overpowering love and devotion for the Batman character. I'll still be sitting in theaters just like everyone else. Do you guys think they will continue the Batman franchise with Affleck, or is his role just meant for Superman versus Batman film? Although I was actually a fan of every host's selections. Aaron, can we please discuss your choice for Batman? Michael Fassbender in every movie is perfection.
That's right.
I would never have thought of it, but as soon as you said it, I yelled out in my cube. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
I did have a suggestion for Poison Ivy. 2 words, Christina Hendricks.
And 2 things pop in my mind. Sorry.
Oh, my God, that is perfect. Yes. All right, she goes, Justin, your review for City of Bones was precisely how I figured it would be. I do hope you end up reading the books, and I hope you can slide your thoughts about them into one of your podcasts. I'm interested in your opinion on them above anyone else's, because I'm really not sure which way you would fall on them. The last thing I'll leave you guys with is Sir Michael Gambon, or Gambon, whatever.
Who cares?
I'm shocked you guys were not a fan of his casting. Although it took me a second to get used to the idea upon reflection, I feel as though his Dumbledore was far more faithful to the books. In the novels, Rowling describes him as an elderly gentleman, but still surprisingly strong and active. Richard Harris, although very magical, was just elderly. I could not picture him doing any of the activities later in the series. Really think about it, guys. I'm confident you will have an aha moment like I eventually did. Always one of your biggest hoes, Ashley. I don't know. I still liked Harris's presence on the screen better.
Yeah, I liked the casting of Michael Gambon. It just didn't work for me. So I was actually looking forward to him.
Do you think you would have liked the second guy if you hadn't seen the first guy first?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would have given him a
be
chance.
part of it.
I would have given him a chance. But
what about Batman? Now, I think it's pretty much known that he will be playing Batman in the Justice League universe of these characters. So if they do a standalone Batman film, he will be Batman. That's my understanding.
We'll see how the movie does.
We'll see how it does. No more Batman. We got to wrap up.
There you go.
Remember, guys, thehollywoodoutsiders.com is the website. Go to facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Leave us a message or text us at 818-814-6426. We're going to be really quick this week because we know we're running long. But listen and subscribe for free on iTunes. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app or through our RSS feed. Thanks to Brian, Justin, and Scotty. Thanks to you guys for being here.
Pleasure as
Thank
always.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for listening.
And come back. Remember, we're going to have our movie edition that should be out on Monday. So if you're listening to us on Monday, it'll be out Monday, probably evening. So look for that. We're going to wrap up the summer movies. And remember, the next time you go to a theater, probably not to see Getaway, buy popcorn.
And listen to TV Talk while you're waiting.
There you go. Pimp.